Hello everyone, I'm Fozzie or Cam, and I'm here as always with my co-host Will. How you doing today, Will?
Doing great, Cam, and looking forward to something that might be returning on Saturday evening. How are
Yeah,
you doing today?
I'm doing great, and welcome to the Everything Podcast. Today we have quite a bit to cover, which both of the things we have to cover today I forgot about, and I for some reason thought we covered it last week. So I had a whole different episode planned until Will came on, and yeah, now we have this, and I am really excited to talk about it because the Indiana Jones 5 trailer and the Guardians 3 trailer were both incredible. And I have a lot of thoughts on both of the trailers, so I'm excited to talk about this. But first, I'd like to talk about Violent Night, which I saw on Monday. I went into this movie with high expectations. Will, I was disappointed. I was.
Okay, all right.
Uh,
So I was thinking about maybe seeing it, but now that you say that, well, actually, I'm just gonna stop talking. Tell me more. Sorry to cut in. Floor is yours.
so I went into this movie thinking it was just gonna be a fun, action-packed, fun movie with David Harbour
Right.
as Santa Claus, and 50% of it is. The other 50% is David Harbour as Santa Claus kind of stumbling around, not really like doing much, like repairing injuries, kind of walking around, and it's not that exciting. It wasn't a bad movie, don't get me wrong. It definitely made me laugh out loud here or there. It definitely had some cool kills, some cool action scenes. Um, Aside from that, I did not bring a lot else to the table. I thought David Harbour was a really good choice as Santa. He's just a very funny guy, and he's like physically like he's a big guy, and he's kind of threatening when you see him beat up all these other henchmen or whatever you want to call them. Um, but yeah, this movie is basically, if you've seen like every review on Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb, it's basically Die Hard. And if you've seen Die Hard, then you kind of get the situation here. An unknown man needs to save hostages, kind of. And there is one cool Home Alone reference, I guess, which is fun. I have to say it was really fun to watch. Overall, maybe a 6 out of 10 for me. Nothing too special. And this annoys me even more because the last few movies, aside from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I've seen, it's just been disappointing. Halloween Ends, Smile, Black Adam, just all disappointing movies, and that upsets me because I generally like to see good movies in the theater, but that's not what I got. I got an average Christmas comedy action movie.
So out of all of like the Christmas movies that you've seen, Cam, would you say this is in like the middle tier or the lower
Middle
tier
tier,
of them?
middle
Middle
tier.
tier. Okay, yeah,
There
yeah.
are some bad Christmas movies out there,
Yeah.
like the Polar Express. People like the Polar Express. I do not. It's a weird movie. I don't like it. All right, so moving on from Violent Night, yeah, well, you. I feel like if you just want to see a fun movie,
Okay,
that might not be
yeah.
the best.
Right.
You will have a good time, but
Okay,
you
that's
know,
cool.
yeah. All right, so Indiana Jones 5. If
What do you think?
I I'm it's so weird because there's all that de aging stuff, which I just think is bonkers. I mean, it looks so good. Harrison Ford looks like Harrison Ford from the original Indiana Jones. That was nuts. And the action scenes look fun. It just looks like a fun movie. It looks like a good Indiana Jones movie. And I'm really hoping that there are no aliens this time around. And in an interview, Harrison Ford actually said they wouldn't do aliens if they made another Indiana Jones, and here they are. Hopefully without aliens. But what do you think of the trailer, Will?
Agree with you. It looked solid. It didn't like it didn't like knock my socks off per se, but it also didn't look bad. It looked like, a fine, solid movie, which I will definitely be going to see in the theater next year. And I really look forward to talking about here on this podcast
Yeah.
because, good quality or bad quality, it's Indiana Jones, a historic movie franchise, and it'll
Totally, yeah.
be one of the biggest movies to come out. So yeah, no, I will have seen all of the sequels, by the time that comes out, and yeah, I'm not going in with like super high expectations, but it looked like kind of a fine, solid movie to me. And let me ask you, who's seen them all. I know that and from like all of the rankings I see, the fourth and most recent Indiana Jones film is like the unanimous worst of the
Oh yeah.
franchise. Do you think this will be better than that?
Uh, yeah, I think it will, cause I think because they're doing something different. They're doing the aging stuff. They're just doing different stuff. It's set in a different time period, still in the past, but in a different time period, and no aliens, which that's what we know so far. We don't have any aliens, so it looks promising so far. And I actually have watched this trailer more times than the Guardians of the Galaxy, just because I'm so intrigued of what they're gonna do with the character of Indiana Jones, because he's just such a fun, likable character. So I'm just really excited to see what they do with him in Indiana Jones 5 and the Dial of Destiny.
I mean, he's a historic movie
Yeah, totally.
character. However you put it, he'll go down with being as famous a movie character as really anybody, because like if you have a film like as big as Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then you have four sequels to it, I mean,
Which
you're
are
gonna go
all,
down.
for the most part, solid sequels.
And I know that the third one is actually your favorite
It
of
is,
the
yeah.
Indiana Jones series, so that's fantastic, and I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah. And
And the second one sounds solid too, right?
it was my favorite for a little bit, but then I just grew to not liking it as much. And the fourth one, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, it's my least favorite Indiana Jones movie, but I don't think it's a bad movie. Just in a series that has so many great films, that's just on the lower end, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, no, look, whether you're excited for Indiana Jones 5 or you're not, it's going to be one of the biggest movies of next
Yeah,
year. So I
totally,
so I would really encourage everybody to go see it, because you're going to see the latest installment in a historic movie franchise.
totally, yeah. And this might be Harrison Ford's last big project, because he's not coming back as Han Solo, and this is going to be his last time as Indiana Jones. So it better be a good farewell to the character, or else I will be upset.
Yeah, that would be too bad, because Harrison Ford is such a terrific
He
actor.
really is. So time to talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy
Oh
Volume
boy.
3 trailer. Someone is going to die. I don't know who, but someone is going to die. Probably
All right.
Rocket, but there may be multiple deaths in this movie.
Let me say this. Talking to one of my friends at school. All right. I don't, not going to say who, because the evidence that this person gave me for one character death is so like disturbing and painfully obvious to me. I'm not going to say who, because I don't want to spoil the movie, but I have received painfully obvious evidence of one of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters' deaths in Guardians Volume 3. Do I think this movie is going to be epic and awesome? I do. I also think it's going to be heartbreaking, and we have to strap ourselves in. I definitely at least one death, and I also could see more, like you said. I think this will
Yeah,
be an epic movie, but also a heartbreaking movie as
and that's what
well.
I want. I think for a movie,
Let me be clear. Superhero movies that have a emotional tone and stuff, like I live for them. Like those are some of my faves. So I'm not complaining one bit. Like I'm actually excited to strap myself in for the emotional ride that is Guardians 3. Because like getting into the emotion of a film, but especially a superhero film. Like that's what going to the movies is for. So I'm not complaining about this at all. Even if I say like strap yourselves in, this is gonna be a heartbreaking film, I'm still super excited to see it, and I live for
Yeah.
superhero movies like this.
So here's the thing. I think people dying in movies makes the movie better. That's a weird thing to say, I know.
But look at
But
Avengers Endgame
yeah.
and Stark's death and how epic that made the ending of that film.
Yeah, I just think it makes characters dying in movies just gives it more weight, you know? And let's look at the Batman. If Alfred died in that explosion instead of just being hospitalized, I mean, the Batman's the best superhero movie of the year, but that my one nitpick is Alfred didn't die. It would have brought more emotion if he died. Uh, just like we saw with Queen Ramonda in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, she died, and boom! I just completely hooked me for the rest of the movie. I was just entranced for the rest of the movie. So I know it's a weird thing to say, but it is just so undeniably true. I mean, you must agree with me. They're just
Oh, I
Aunt
one
May,
hundred
No Way
percent.
Home.
No, I completely agree with what you're saying. Yeah, like I should just put it to yeah, like Black Panther: Wakanda Forever was already a good movie before Queen Ramonda died, but when she did, as you said, you're just hooked. Like that took things to another level.
Yeah,
That made it just a riveting movie journey for Shuri and her character. And I thought Letitia Wright after Queen Ramonda's death, like her performance was already great, but she took it to another level after that. She
yeah,
elevated her performance to even higher heights. She was just fantastic in that film. But yeah, it is just character deaths. They're heartbreaking, but they also do add such an emotional
yes.
gravitas to
They help the
movies.
movie.
They do. Like No Way Home was Aunt May's death did do wonders for No Way Home as a movie.
Yep.
It allowed Toby and Andrew to step into that kind of mentor role for Tom Holland. Like it really worked. So look, it is very obvious to me from stuff that people have told me that that one character is going to die. We could get more, but I'm here for it. I think it's going to be one of the most heartbreaking, but also beautiful and epic Marvel movies ever. I'm so excited for Guardians 3. I'm extremely excited. I can't believe I'm saying this because I didn't enjoy the first two films. I'm extremely excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania next year as well. But Guardians Volume 3 is what I'm most excited
Yep.
for. I think it's going to be a heartbreaking and yet beautiful and epic movie.
Yeah. I mean, out of those two movies, I'm definitely more excited for Guardians 3 than Quantumania. Do I think they're both going to be good movies? Yes, I do. So, the person I think is going to die, or I guess two people who have enough evidence for dying in the trailer, are Rocket.
Rocket, I completely agree. That's the one that I've gotten, yeah, or that I've heard stuff about.
It
So
just
so
makes
I
sense with the
I
high
agree.
evolutionary. It just makes a lot of
Rocket,
sense.
I'm gonna go Rocket as well. I'm right there with you.
But we also saw a shot of Drax with a wound in the trailer.
And we
So,
saw Peter Quill getting like carried like in one like shot as well, apparently injured or knocked out or
oh
something.
yeah, so if Peter Quill does, that will boost the movie up so
Oh
much for
my
me.
gosh.
Wow.
If
Although,
he
if
dies, oh,
the thing is, with him dying, he kind of carries the movie, so that might not be.
yeah, I don't think it would be their smartest move because look, as much as
Unless
I
it's like
enjoy it,
towards the very end of the
sure.
film.
If you're gonna
Like
have Quill
Iron
die,
Man. Like
make it
Iron
be
Man.
right. If you're gonna have Quill die, make it be towards the end. Because look, as much
He
as
needs to
I,
be in the movie.
yeah, there are certain films, even like Rocky, where like I love all the like supporting characters, but it's like the lead character that makes me want to see the movie, and my
Yeah.
interest would drop if they're not in it. And that's the case for me with Peter Quill. So I completely agree with you. If he's gonna die, it can't be till the end because it's his character and Chris Pratt's humor and amazing performances that make me the most interested in those films.
Yeah. So Gamora, I don't think she is going to die because she died already
Right.
before,
I
and
agree.
that would
That
just
wouldn't
be
make as much sense.
repeating things.
By the way, I think we are just gonna have like a beautiful, like Peter Quill, Gamora, love story-ish, storyline going on here. I think, I think love could be a big thing like at the forefront of this movie because this is the last time that we're going to see this team of Guardians of the
Yeah, that's what
Galaxy
James
on
Gunn's saying.
screen together and Gamora, was the love of Peter Quill's life and this version of her doesn't know who he is, but I just think it's going to be just beautiful and powerful. So many
Yeah,
things in this film, and Gamora and Quill and their relationship right at the forefront.
yeah, and it's crazy because I remember Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy being the brand new Marvel movies, but now here they are. They're
Third,
going on their third and probably final movies. Because
right?
Ant-Man is going to die. I said it from
Yeah,
the first trailer I saw. Ant-Man is going to die. Scott Lang is going to die, and Hope Van Dyne is going to take the Ant-Man. Or well, it'll
mantle
just
or
become the
whatever.
Wasp. It'll just become the Wasp. Does that sadden me to see Scott Lang die? Yes. But will it happen? Yes. It will just show how powerful Kang is, and it will once again
Well, how about?
help
Sorry, go
help the
ahead.
movie. It'll help the
Well,
movie.
think about how Kang at the end of the first trailer says, "I can get you home if you help me." So, what's it gonna be? Ant-Man. But like, do you really think like Scott? To your point about like Tim Dunn, like, do you really think Scott Lang is gonna agree to help somebody as evil as Kang? Stuff like that is
Yeah,
where
I think he will.
I think you really are onto something. And look, if they want to kill off Ant-Man to prove Kang's evilness and make the Avengers' victory at the end of Secret Wars all the more satisfying, I'd be in for that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, death makes movies better.
Yeah, and
I can't stress it enough.
I hate to say it, but like like I'm not like emotionally attached to the Ant-Man character like I am like a Peter Quill or a Tony
Yeah,
Stark. So actually, for that reason, I would be more okay with the death as a fan because I'm less emotionally connected to the character. So for that reason, I would actually welcome it in the sense of it proving Kang's dominance because let me say this, if this movie is going to lead into the events of Avengers the Kang dynasty and Kang is the big bad of the entire multiverse saga, how can you have Ant-Man and the Wasp and everybody else walk out of there with a win? Like that wouldn't help
yeah,
establish Kang's dominance. So I
yeah,
think for reasons like that, we should be scared of what you're saying, which is Ant-Man dying.
yeah. But you say you won't be as sad if he dies than Peter Quill.
Right.
But I
Because I'm
thought that
more
too.
emotionally invested with the Quill character. I feel more of a connection because I feel like he's just been written so much better. That's why.
I thought that too with Gamora, for example, in Avengers: Infinity War. But when she died, that was like, wow, she's dead. I mean, like, it got me. And
Sure.
I, I,
Really
I
sad,
didn't I
yeah.
didn't think it was. I wasn't crazy attached to her character. She wasn't my favorite character in the Guardians by any means. But then she gets thrown off a cliff by her own father, and oh my gosh,
What a way
but
to establish Thanos' evilness that he would kill his own daughter for a
yeah.
stone.
So yeah, you may think that now, but I, I'm gonna think that when you're watching the movie and
Sure.
he does die, because he's going to die, you will be shocked. You will be upset. So that's
I'm sure, look, I'm sure that it will at least trigger some emotions when it happens. And I think the strongest emotion that it will trigger will be hatred for Kang. I believe
yeah,
if that happens, if Ant-Man dies, I'm gonna want to punch Kang in the face, and that is when you know that Marvel has written a great villain, when you want to punch him in the face because you hate
Yeah.
them so much. That's what Cobra Kai did so well with
Terry Silver, yeah.
Terry Silver this year. When he was beating up Daniel at the end of episode 5, I was fake punching the screen because I just hated him so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Kang, we are in good hands with Jonathan Majors in this role, and Kang is the
Jonathan
villain of
Majors
the
here.
entire multiverse. So, oh, I said to you off air after last podcast. Let me say it on air. What a year Jonathan Majors is about to have. He's got a movie out right now, Devotion, with
Yep.
Glenn Powell. Within 2 months next year, February, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, March, Creed 3, two of the biggest movies of the year.
Yep.
Talk about one of the biggest actors out there right now. I mean, my gosh,
I
the
didn't.
year the 2 months, the February and March that Jonathan Majors is about to have. I mean, I bet he's just gonna go home and collapse on his bed when he's done with all the press that he's gonna have to do
Yeah,
for
I
those two
know. And
movies.
those are two big, big blockbuster movies. They're not just small indie films. These are big movies. You know.
Yeah, I mean, look, any movie that has like Marvel or like, create attached to it is a big film. And allow me to say this really quick about Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. I never thought I would say this with like my enjoyment of the first film or my non-enjoyment of the first two
Yep.
films, but I believe that if the quantum realm stuff is taken seriously, that this could be maybe like, even if it's like a lesser version, like Multiverse of Madness, but with the quantum realm. Like I like the quantum realm stuff gets me so excited, just like with Multiverse
Yeah.
of Madness exploring the multiverse
But
got me excited.
that was a complaint I had with Multiverse of Madness. Actually, there wasn't enough multiverse.
Right. Strange and America Chavez only went to like
And it was
one other
basically just
reality.
Earth. It was
Right.
basically just
So
Earth.
but I think the good news is that we got Avengers the Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars coming up, and I think we are going to get multiverse chaos in
Oh
those.
yeah.
Like, I think the Kang
I think
Dynasty
that'll
will
happen
end
with
and it
Loki
will
as well.
be sure. I think, yeah, Loki or like, but like, especially Avengers the Kang Dynasty, just like with Infinity War going into Endgame, I think Kang Dynasty will end. It'll be multiverse chaos. Worlds are
Yeah.
in shatters before the big fulfilling conclusion in Secret Wars, where the evil Kang is defeated,
Yep.
and you feel oh so fulfilled walking out of there as a fan. But maybe there'll have to be someone sacrifice their life, just like Stark did in
Yep.
Endgame.
Totally.
Because
Yeah.
that's just what has to happen. As sad as it is, people have to make sacrifices, and
Yep.
I know that people have the critique with it not being the main characters, but you have seen that happen in Stranger Things, Bob season 2, um,
Eddie.
Billy season 3, and then Eddie season 4. Sacrifices have to be made to defeat the big bads.
Yep. Totally. And I'm gonna say it one last time. Death makes movies better. That's it. That's the final time. Sacrifice makes movies better. Heartfelt sacrifices. It just adds so much emotion to the movie. That's the last time I'm saying it. I promise. But now I'd like to move on to a completely different topic. Music that we've been listening to. Will, why don't you start off? What have you been listening to?
Well, just to stay on the Guardians of the Galaxy, I have listened to the music from Kevin Bacon and the old 97s from the Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
holiday special, and I also listened to the song in the meantime that they used for the Guardians 3 trailer. So
Yes.
listen, yeah, to some Guardians of the Galaxy music just to keep it on that topic. What have you been listening to recently?
I've been listening to someone named Frank Ocean. You might not have heard of him. He's relatively popular. He just has some really good songs. They're just all relaxing, calm, very heartfelt songs. I've also been listening to a band called MGMT. It's kind of an indie pop rock band. Um, I think you would like them well. They make some fun music. Particularly when you die, I really like that song. Kids, great song. Um, I've also been listening to Weezer. Weezer, I mean, they're just kind of a hard rock band, a punk, not metal band, but they're just a really fun band. And I like a lot of their music. But yeah, that's what I've been, and of course Tyler the Creator, who I've always listened to. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. So
yeah.
yeah, that's great. And by the way, let me ask you this just while we're on music. Where does the Guardians of the Galaxy rank for you in terms of movie soundtracks like that you've
Ooh,
heard?
it's up there.
Yeah.
I try to think.
Rocky 4 is up there for me as well. That's a soundtrack that I love to
All
listen
right,
to
yeah,
just to get pumped up. So, those are films that come to mind for me in terms of great soundtracks.
yeah. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a really great soundtrack. Both of them do. I think one is slightly better than the second.
Great.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head that could be Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, I think that's my favorite movie soundtrack.
It truly is just fantastic in every sense of the word. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that'll wrap up today's podcast. It is a shorter podcast actually,
Yeah.
but I honestly thought this would go longer, but
Yeah, and by the way, folks, we may be back on Saturday because the Warriors and the Celtics are playing. We may be back at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific for a pregame show. We may
yes.
see you again on on Saturday, and yeah, I'll if you do, I will share my thoughts on what's been a really interesting Warriors season so far, and we can dive more into the Celtics and their excellent start to the season.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Everything Podcast, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.